Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Joe Hindy, the Android Authority App Guy. Do you like podcasts? I know I do, and after the intro, we'll check out some of the best podcast apps for Android. First on our list is DoggCatcher. This app features a very busy and cluttered interface, but it's so you can see all of the information it has to offer. You can find a wide selection of podcasts to subscribe to, which is always important for a podcast app. It also has a lot of customization options. You can auto-download podcasts to your device, and it also has support for both audio and video podcasts. With ease of use, that makes DoggCatcher one of the most solid podcast apps for Android. Pocket Casts is a solid podcasting app. Like Podcast Addict, Pocket Casts allows people to browse using a variety of options, including top audio, top video, featured by network, and by category. It makes finding new podcasts just that much easier. Once you've found what you're looking for, playing them is easy, and you can even categorize your podcast subscriptions for easier listening. It's gorgeously designed, and it's easy to use, and really, what more can you ask from a podcast app? Next up is Podcast Addict. Unlike DoggCatcher, Podcast Addict takes a much more simple and less cluttered approach to a podcast app. It makes up for this by having a lot of screens to navigate. As with nearly all podcast apps on this list, we were able to find all the podcasts we searched for without issues. When adding podcast, there's a lot of options. You can search manually, add an RSS feed, browse by top podcasts, import via OPML, and even browse podcast networks like Twit, Revision 3, BBC, and others. So it's definitely a great app if you're looking for new podcasts and listening to old favorites. Next on our list is Podkicker. This podcast app has a beautifully simple interface combined with easy controls and a sleek look. This can be, of course, good and bad. It's good because it makes things easier to use. It's bad because that means there are fewer features than most of the others on this list. The podcasts available to listen to is user-driven, so if there's a podcast you like that isn't there, you have to submit that podcast's RSS link to the official Podkicker website to get it on there. This minor inconvenience aside, this is a great app for people who just want to listen to their podcasts without all the bells and whistles. Last and certainly not least is RssDemon. This is really more of an RSS news app than a podcast app, but it does have the capacity to search for and play podcasts. This is the only app on the list without a dedicated player, so you'll need to use your music app to actually listen to the podcasts. Like the others, the availability is fantastic, although it does lack the ability to discover new podcasts like Podcast Addict or Pocket Cast. So if you're looking for more of a mix between RSS and podcast instead of the separate apps for both, RssDemon fits the bill. If you take a look at our leaderboard, you can see how all these apps stack up against one another. As always, this is how they were rated by you, the people who download and use these apps. There is no bias on our part. To get these apps, the download links are in the video description. While these may have the highest ratings, the best podcast for you may not be what's best for everyone. Some of our honorary mentions include Beyond Pod Podcast Manager, IPP Podcast Player, PodTrapper Podcast Manager, Feed Plus News and Podcast Manager, and Slacker Radio has some good podcast options as well. Of course, if there's a podcast app we did forget, feel more than free to comment below and tell us what your favorite is. Once again, I'm Joe Hindy, the Android Authority App Guy. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our social media links in the video description.